Here I am, back with another video, and once again, not really a whole lot to talk about. I talked about in yesterday's video, I said that there are really, I think, really 3 steps that I need to take right now in order to improve my life, which is talking to 2 people at work and then buying my new bike. And I haven't done any of those 3 yesterday. And I mean, I didn't plan to buy the bike, so that's kind of off the map. But I did want to talk to the 2 people, and I didn't do it. So what I will try in this video is 1, build up a plan on how to do it today, and 2, think about what I can learn from this so that it hopefully never happens again. So what is the plan for today? I think what I will do is, or what I have to do, is I simply have to come into work and then make talking to these 2 people my number 1 priority, which means that before I haven't talked to them, I won't do anything else. It's as simple as that. And I should have done that yesterday, but well, it is what it is. And then number 2, what can I learn from this in order to make sure that I never again, what exactly am I doing, or have I been doing? It's like, that I never again postpone the actions. What do I need to do to make sure that I never again postpone the actions that I need to do that I don't want to do? And that's pretty tough. I feel like one of the main ways in which I avoid taking these actions is by creating distractions, really, that I do so that I can... What exactly am I doing then? So that I can then, do the distracting activity and then be like, after I've done a distracting activity, oh no, now that person has already left to go home. Now I can't talk to them today. Oh, what a very sad thing. Now I will have to do it tomorrow. What was I trying to say? Yeah, I mean, that is kind of where my mind... No, it's kind of, I think, how my avoidance mechanism works. Distractions. This video is a fucking mess already. Holy shit. I really feel like the videos have been going from an incredibly low point down even worse over the last few days. And I think part of the reason is because I just shamelessly used them to talk about my own problems instead of talking about anything in particular. Instead of talking about a certain topic in particular. But this isn't quite a... I mean, this is how my avoidance strategy works, but it isn't how I can make sure that this never happens again. I'm not sure if it even is realistic to never let this happen again. But yeah, I mean, What I really need is a reliable strategy or a reliable way to be like, to decide that this is something I have to do and then almost immediately do it. And I think that is actually really just a muscle that you need to train. Like, I truly believe you just need to do this 100 times and then you kind of get better at it. So yeah, and this is really where the question, what would someone, I think for me at least, where the question, what would someone successful do right now, comes in. Because when I ask that question and there are actions that I need to take that I don't want to take, then obviously what someone successful would do is he would take these actions immediately. And so I can kind of, because since the actions themselves will be very different over the course of my life, I can start to build a habit to still do these actions by always kind of connecting them to the question, what would someone successful do right now? Then actually get the clarity that someone successful would do that hard action and not any of the distractions. He wouldn't wait. He would do it immediately, and therefore I would do the same. Or therefore I have to do the same, then I actually have to do that. So really it comes down to two things. Number one, ask myself, what would someone successful do right now? Which has really two purposes. Number one is to make pushing myself to do hard things into a habit. And number two is, and maybe even more importantly, it is to get clarity on what the number one thing I actually have to do at that moment is to get clarity on what the number one thing I actually have to do in that moment actually is. I'm just realizing that I forgot to put on the professional microphone today. What I will do is I will jump out of the picture, put it here so I don't forget it tomorrow, and professionally jump back into the picture and keep babbling. And the problem with this is that what someone successful would do today is he would push himself to do all three actions today. So he would talk to the two people, and he would also just go and buy the fucking bike. However, I really don't want to go and buy the bike today. I will not lie. But yeah, and I won't do it, which is a fucking shame because I probably should be doing it. No, not because I probably should be doing it, it is because I should be doing it. And because, I mean, it's not that shit anymore, but it's probably still also not that good. What I wanted to say is my life is not that shit anymore right now, but it is also not that good. And I have wasted so many opportunities and made so many had so many preventable failures over the last 8 years that I really should take all the opportunities that I do get to do the right thing. And here I am, and I can't get myself to go and buy the bike. Damn it. What I will do though, because my mind, I tell myself that this is what I want to do before buying the bike, is like, I will call it home, or I will make a call, and then hopefully go and buy it tomorrow. We will fucking see. I also kind of want to sit down and think about what exactly I have to do, or exactly what I want to buy with the bike, like all the accessoires that I may or may not need. But that's also incredibly boring to talk about. Bro, these videos, they are really going fucking downhill in quality. It's unbelievable. I really thought these videos couldn't get any worse, but here they are, getting even worse. And I mean, of course there are certain steps that I could take to make these videos better. I mean, I already talked about them in yesterday's videos, but it's one, I could actually reduce the amount of videos that I make and properly script and edit them. And then I think I think my thoughts would suddenly be way better. Or at least the things that I talk about would suddenly be way better. Or I could keep making these videos and do them as some kind of documentation, but then I would actually have to live my life in a way where there are interesting things to document, and maybe go also a bit into the route of vlogging. But since I plan to stop these videos altogether, of course my motivation to make incremental steps to improve them in either direction, to improve the videos in either direction, is fucking non-existent. So another thing that I want to talk about, I mean, really, is there even anything to talk about? I mean, yeah, maybe. So another thing that I want to talk about is that I had a online call with someone from the online community that I'm in yesterday, and the person was incredibly nice, but I think I absolutely wasted her fucking time. Because essentially the way she wanted the call to go was like she wanted to help me with some kind of problem that I had, and it's like, once again, I think it was the same thing in another call that I had, but just this time I was starting the call, so I was thinking, won't be an issue this time. It was. She was asking how she could help me, and how she could help me with a problem, and it was like, I didn't have any fucking problem, where I was like, oh yeah, you can help me with, because I won't lie, I feel like, I'm not sure if this applies to people in general, or whether it's because I'm I think I'm somewhat more introspective than most people, but it's like I just talked about the three next steps that I have to take, and I don't think I need any advice or help from other people until I have actually taken those three next steps. In fact, I even think that when there are actions that I don't want to do, that I need to do, and then I go and get advice from other people, then that's just one more distraction that keeps me away from actually taking those actions. And it made me think about two things for the next calls that I want to do, and also made me really see an overall issue. So the first thing is that, and in the end I asked her about like advice on how to generally make calls better, because she was someone in the group who actually already had her own business for 20 years. And so, which is insane when you think about it, or when I think about it. And so I figured she probably had quite a bit of experience with having calls with other people and on how to structure them or how to go about them in a way where you can actually make those calls useful. And she had some more specific points, but the main point really was that you want to make these calls purposeful, both for you and the other person and the relationship. And I think that's where, for me, the issue is kind of coming in. Or where there are two ways to go about this. Because really what my goal right now is to just start 10 calls, well, no, it's 9 calls, to just start 9 calls with random people in order to push myself to get on calls with people, because again, that's one of those things that I think I'm avoiding, and that where I can get better by doing them. So that's like kind of the first way I could continue. Just keep commenting in the group, starting chats with people, and jumping on calls with them, just in order to push me to have calls. Of course, I would think of ways to structure them better or to make them more interesting, but the underlying intention and therefore the underlying problem would remain the same. It would still be to just, the goal literally is the call, and it's not anything. Yeah, I think almost like the two ways are like, in the first way, just pushing myself to do calls. The goal is the call. In the second way, you want to have a larger goal, and kind of the call is the means to that goal. And since I definitely don't really have a business, and so I feel like there are really 3 ways that, or 3 purposes that you can have for having a call beyond just having the call. And the first one is to make it kind of a sales call and try to get clients, which is obviously off the book for me. The second one is to go and actually help people with a problem that they have. And this is like an okay way to go about this. I don't really feel like I have any fucking reason to think that I'm capable of helping people, but I can probably make some changes in my life and brainwash myself to believe that I kind of can give some advice to some people over the next 1 or 2 months. And then it also depends on where I actually go to make these calls. For example, in the main community that I'm in right now, there are generally people who want to start their own business. And surprisingly enough, it's also a lot of people who are way fucking older than me, which I think is a good sign for an online community actually. But there's another community where I'm in, which is not very active, but there's a lot of younger folks in there, and so I feel like there are some people where I maybe could help them. But then again, now that I actually think about it, probably not, because it's mostly teenagers in there, and I won't fucking lie. My teenage years were a complete failure, and I still haven't, and I don't know if I fucking ever will, I still haven't kind of overcome that failure and like turned it into an advantage or whatever. And so I'm not sure if I'm the right person to try to help those people. But generally, I think maybe I could make calls to help people. But then again, not really. And so the third option is to make the calls in order to build deeper relationships, which really is, I think, the main thing that I would like to want to do right now, because I have basically no social support network of actual people that I know where I can, who also want to like make money online, let's say. And there's so many things that are a problem with this. I mean, I'm probably also overthinking this a lot, but anyways, it's like, so the idea would be to the goal would be to find people to have regular calls with in order to improve both our lives. There are 3 problems or 3 challenges with this that I can think off the top of my head. The first one is that I actually need to find people who I really would like to, make let's call it accountability calls with. So the first challenge is to find people that I actually want to make regular accountability calls with, which I can feel like can take a long time to actually it can take a long time to actually find people where I'm like, oh yeah, I would actually like to have accountability calls with these people. And so that keeps me kind of from making progress with making those calls, and therefore also kind of making progress with the course as a whole. Then the second issue is that I don't really know what to make the accountability calls about, because with my online business, or with the online project, again, literally the only thing I'm kind of doing there is having calls with people. Like there's no real building or anything in the background. And I could make it about making YouTube videos, but then again, the fucking course says to not make YouTube videos, and I want to follow the fucking course. So it's like, that's kind of off the hook. And so then it would kind of only be about, I don't know, making progress in the course, which I think is a shit topic to have for our accountability calls. And it would be about kind of trying to solve your own problems in life, which is also like a meh topic to have accountability calls about. But anyways, I think, I mean, if I really wanted to have some kind of purpose with these kinds of calls, then it would be either finding accountability partners or trying to help people. I think that, I mean, I just fucking talked for 10 minutes or so about all the problems with this, but really I think if I try to think more solution oriented and less problem oriented, then those are really two things I can try. Like I can go and make 4 calls where I try to find an accountability partner, and I can go and do 5 calls where I try and actually help people, where I try to go and actually help people. And then the third thing that I'm worrying about is basically only with accountability calls, that really I don't like having my days filled with social activities that I have to go to, and then the accountability call will just be another one of those social activities. So yeah, and it also, I mean, the more and more I talk about this course, the more I'm like, meh, is it really the right thing to do? I mean, I have committed to certain actions in order to at least make sure that I'm not just coping or not just avoiding hard things and therefore leaving the course. So I will have to see. I think I will have to see. Okay, so basically I think what I can take from that talk is definitely that I want to have one of these 2 purposes that I just talked about as goals for the talk. And then the second problem, or the second area of improvement of yesterday's talk, was that I didn't really have a problem to talk about. And yesterday evening, after the talk, when I was thinking about it, and that's actually also another area for improvement, like my preparation beforehand the talk, not even the preparation, just the way I went about things I was incredibly distracted and hectic, and that's not how I want to go into those calls. I generally want to be very calm and collected instead. And also after the call I was like kind of thinking about random stuff for for half an hour, and then going to bed a bit later than normally, and it's like nothing did come of this basically walking around in my room and thinking about stuff. And so I also either want to implement a proper reflection session after the talk, though I honestly feel just making a video the next morning about it is actually quite a good way to reflect about the talk, I won't fucking lie. And the other option is to just go to bed immediately and just, well, make a video the next morning. But really what I wanted to talk about was that I couldn't think of a problem that the person that I talked with could help me solve. And yesterday evening I did think of some problem or some question that I actually could have asked her. And it's like, it was something along the lines of, I don't even fucking know what the question would have been, but it was something along the lines of, should I focus on should I mostly focus on solving my own problems and cut out all the things that distract me? Or should I just try and go and keep pushing with reducing things by small steps, but kind of keeping everything that I keep running, but kind of keep everything running that I have running right now? I'm actually just realizing that I think scaling things down with small steps really is a good way to go about making sacrifices and keeping things out of your life, because it's like, or at least I hope, that when I scale things down step by step, number one, it takes me longer to stop doing things, which makes me hopefully more intentional about starting new things in the future. Also, when I'm currently in the process of scaling the things that I am doing down, then it's basically a pretty good way to ensure that I'm just not randomly starting new shit. And also, I hope that when I scale things down over time, and it's therefore actually quite a big thing, that I can then keep out of the things that I don't want to do better and be more focused on the things that I do want to do. But I'm not so sure if that's really the case. Anyways, that's it for today's very fucking professional video. See you tomorrow.